Well, hello and welcome to our backyard garden in the South Carolina upstate. Um, this is our 30th episode in our third season. Uh, just giving a weekly tour of our backyard. It is September 27th, 2025, and it's a Saturday afternoon. Weather is starting to improve. It's been really overcast for the last few hours, actually the past day or two, and we're starting to get a little bit of blue sky now, so it's about 75 degrees, perfect day to take a look at our yard. We did our front yard garden just a few minutes ago. We're going to do our backyard now. This area here on the hillside next to the house is all irises. I've been through this over the last couple of weeks, weeding it and getting trees and canna and holly and other things out of it. So it doesn't look great, but it does look better than it did. But there's really not much to see of that until spring when the irises come into bloom. And then it'll be very pretty. Coming down to the base of the hill, though, we've got this huge daisy, which is doing very well. Blooms twice a year, spring and then again here in the summer, or late summer and early fall. Lots of buds still on it, though, so we should get more flowers over the next couple of weeks. It usually finishes up pretty quickly, so we're going to enjoy that while it's here. And then over on this side, we have some cleome. We had a lot of cleome growing, in some cases, right up out of the concrete earlier in the year. But these are the only ones left right now. And they're still doing well, but they're getting very tall and spindly, as you can see. And I'm just kind of leaving them until they stop blooming. And as long as they still have these seed pods on them, I want to let those mature so that the seeds will re-fertilize this area and we can get more of these next year. They've been very low maintenance. We put in some probably about 5 years ago, and they've just continued to come back ever since. We had some over in this area, but they were all done for the year. So I cleared this area out, and I cleared out all the morning glories that were up in here too, because they had just gotten to the point where they were kind of covering everything. They were covering this daisy and growing up the downspout and everything, and not really putting out enough flowers to justify all that. So they're done for the year. And then we have our pokeweed over here. This is something that just started growing on its own, and one of our viewers was kind enough to tell me what it was, because I really wasn't sure. Just sort of showed up on its own, but I've seen a number of these in people's yards since then. It's very ornamental. It's very, very pretty in its own way. You get these little white flowers, which then progress to the green berries, which then eventually turn into purple berries. And even though they're poisonous to humans, so definitely stay away from them, the birds seem to like them. And I've seen a number of these disappearing as the birds eat away. But this should come back next year. Low maintenance, just kind of a neat looking shrub, and it's found itself a home here. And then as we come down the hill, we have our 4 big hydrangeas, which are pretty much done for the year. They're still giving us a little bit of color, but it's not the original color. They were bright white, but that has progressed to sort of a lime green with the little pink highlights, and eventually it just turns into the brown seed pods that are left over, and those stay on all winter. So as we continue down through this area, not much else on this side of the yard is still blooming. We have a few zinnias that have come up over here, but our butterfly bush in this area is finished up. We have a second butterfly bush over here that is just giving us maybe 2 areas of color now, but other than that, it is done, and that'll come back next year. We have some of our Asiatic lilies here that bloomed long ago, some of them giving us these huge seed pods that look more like cucumbers. And then what else do we have in here? A few impatiens. I've talked about these before. We never know what we're going to get with impatiens. Last year We had a couple of clusters that did really well with lots and lots of color. These are more sporadic. They have just not done that well this year. Probably the hot summer was to blame, I'm guessing. But I think this is going to be our last year for impatiens. I don't think they're worth the trouble. They've been too inconsistent, at least here in our yard. This is probably our biggest azalea here in the back. We have a total of 6, and this one is blooming for the second time. It gave us just a phenomenal number of blooms back in the spring, and it's blooming again now. The others, we have one over here that's got a few blooms on it, not a ton, but we may get some more flowers out of these before the end of the year, hopefully, if we're lucky. Also have a camellia that has been here for about 5 years now, and this is a strange plant. This one really struggled. We had to move it because it was not doing well in its first location, and over here it took a long time for it to start to look really good, but the leaves look very healthy, and I'm even starting to see some flower buds. So where was one? Right there. These usually bloom in late, probably mid-February into early March. Sometimes, depending on the weather, it might even be late January, but those will be one of the first signs of spring as they start to come out. The bright red flowers with sometimes a yellow center, and some of the ones that we have elsewhere in the garden are sort of have a candy cane or a peppermint look to them. So that's something to look forward to in a few months. I have done a lot of weeding and clearing out, and you can't really see it so well now that the leaves are falling. It definitely has a fall appearance to it since the last couple of weeks, especially since we had a lot of rain this week. A lot of leaves fell. But got another azalea over here. Most of everything else in this part of the garden is either finished or close to it, although we do have some more daisies over here and another daisy plant over here, a huge one, and a lot of buds on it, so we're still going to get some more flowers out of that. Zinnias still hanging in there, and this nice bright, almost blood red knockout rose still doing really well. I'm expecting this to grow even more next year. It had gotten eaten down to the ground by a wayward beaver last year, but it has come back beautifully. And this is a particularly nice one because at any given time it's got flowers on it, and you don't have to deadhead it. It's very, very low maintenance. Just been really an ideal plant. Another camellia here, and then over on our trellis here we have jasmine and climbing roses, and some clematis as well. In fact, speaking of clematis, this is normally a spring flower, but here we are. This is a Nellie Moser variety, and it's doing very well, but I've cut this area back pretty heavily so we could actually still walk through it, but it's very dense. It took about 5 years to get to this point, but it's been a really nice addition to the backyard. We've got some spiderworts here. These are doing really well. Usually these are more just a morning plant, but I think the fact that it's a little bit overcast today has kept them out a little bit longer. Then we have one vinca here. Strange thing about the vinca is they really came out nicely over the past 3 years, and they would just bring themselves back each year from seed, but this year we really didn't get that. In fact, this is about the only one that we've had that flowered at all. Now I'm going to come over this way because our neighbor is mowing his lawn, and it's hard to hear over that, but coming down here to the pond level, it's not a lot to see. I'll show our little pond lily back in here. It's not blooming, it's done with that for the year. I'm hoping to get more of these next year, and they'll hopefully be able to give us some flowers. The one we had there did quite a bit of flowering this year, and it was a really fun plant. It would put out one flower at a time, and it would be up for a few hours and then disappear into the water. This area along the terrace here is done, but these are mostly daylilies, wild orange daylilies. A little bit of irises. You can kind of see some of the rhizomes waiting until next spring to come up. There were a lot of canna that were growing up in here, as well as maple trees and other things, and I just went through and weeded this as thoroughly as I could. So it looks a little better. It looks a little sparse right now, but I'm thinking this will come back over the winter. Over here, kind of the same thing. Just an example. Now this is all canna, and you can see how huge they are. They're all done for the year, and they had kind of crossed over the line and into this area. I cut these back extensively just a week ago, and they're already coming back. So I tried to spray these with Roundup, and it didn't really work too well. So I'm going to have to really get aggressive with these and keep chopping them back, or they'll quickly take over this area. And then we still have some black-eyed Susans here. You see the black eyes as they've finished up in their little seed pods. And then jasmine all along the fence. They have a tendency to grow down into the garden a little bit, so I have to stay on top of those. Between the jasmine and the wisteria and the canna and hollies, we have a lot of things that have to be controlled. Now these canna have also kind of jumped over the railroad tie, so these I want to cut back. I'm not going to do it now. I'll just wait until next spring and do it then. But let's see, one other thing that I can show. I don't know how well you can see it, but some clematis have come out on the side of this tree. Not really seeing it too well. Just some white clematis, and again, they're primarily spring flowers, so what you get at this time of year is basically just a very small example of what you would have the rest of the year. We also have some climbing roses here. These little tiny pink flowers are doing really well. They bloom off and on throughout the year, and right now they're kind of having their final say for the year. But we have quite a few up near the house as well. And then I'm going to show a few roses that we've got up in the up by the house. Very fragrant purple roses. And Dad had this quite a bit to get these to come back out. And then Dad had a lot back in this bed. This bed was really choked with weeds, and I went through over the last couple of weeks and tried to get it cleared out as best I could, so it looks a little bit better. This area was a complete mess. You couldn't even walk on our little walkway here, but I got that all taken care of. We're even getting some more tomatoes now. Probably the fact that the weather has cooled off has really helped. So we've got a nice little grape tomato here. This one's ready for picking. And there are a few others kind of scattered about. We used to have, a few years ago, we used to get some huge ones, huge plants, I should say, with literally hundreds of grape or cherry tomatoes. Now these are unusually large for us on this plant. We only have, what, 4 right now. We'll see what they do. But it's nice to be able to see this area and not be, just looking more at weeds than plants. We got a lot of daylilies through here, calla lilies, roses, and again the climbing roses here. These go, well, in some cases, about 15 feet up, almost up to the second floor, up to the deck. And this is all one plant. Low maintenance. The only thing I've had to do with this, truly, is cut it back, because the branches have a tendency to block off our stairway, and that's obviously a bit of a problem. So instead of getting stabbed by thorns every time I go down the steps, I've just cut them back. In some cases, I have to cut back branches that are covered with rosebuds, which I hate to do, but I don't particularly enjoy getting thorns in my arm and my leg. So it is what it is. It's got some marigolds over here too that have just sort of grown. I think these seeds washed down from the deck where we were doing most of the planting in coffee cups back in the spring, and they've done very, very well here. So that's about it for our garden this week. Looks a little better since we've put some work into it, not a surprise. Have not done a lot of that the past couple of years for a variety of reasons, but now I think I've kind of committed myself to spending a certain amount of time on the garden, and I'd like to think it's paying off too, because I do enjoy the flowers at all times of the year, and the more maintenance you do, whether it's deadheading or weeding or fertilizing, any of that kind of stuff, it does pay off in the long run. Fertilization is probably the one thing I still have not done anywhere near enough of, but hopefully next year we'll get back to that, and we're going to have ourselves a really nice garden moving into 2026. So hope it's sunny wherever you are, and till next time, happy gardening.